What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video. Today, we're going to take a look at the Arcade1up Galaga Countercade version 2. This is generation 2. Let's check it out. This is Galaga by Arcade1up. This is the Countercade. Specifically, this is a Generation 2 Countercade cabinet featuring Galaga and Galaga 88. So this is the retail packaging. Depending on where you purchase your Countercade from, it could be just wrapped with plastic inside of a box. But this is retail packaging, so it allows you to see the buttons, see the screen, has your handles, so that you can pick these things up. Let's get it opened up and check it out. So let's take a look at it. At the side art, I like this, one of my favorite cabinets. I don't like that they don't give you screw hole covers, but I have some of those, so I'll definitely put those on. To the back, you have your power cord, which you'll plug the adapter up. If you go with a battery solution like I usually do, then you wouldn't use this. Just held on by 4 screws. Traditional non-black rear panel, which they should change that. The other side, same thing. You see it has the black trim and your control panel and your plexi for your screen. This is a sticker, so both of these have to come off. So they start the corner for you over here. They always put the screw on after the fact, so there's always a chance you're going to leave some of this plastic behind. Now we just need to get some power to this, and we can fire this up. So It always has this sticker with the A button, so you know which one's the A button when you first start it up. Just got to find the corner and take that off. There you go. So we have our off-on switch, volume. This is the new incremental volume switch. Player 1, player 2, your fire button, and your two-way controller, left and right. I don't know if I can show you this here, but you see here that they have a oval shape that keeps this joystick going just left and right. Alright, so we're going to plug it up and turn it on. Alright, so let's turn it on for the first time. And I'm really saddened by these Generation 2 countercades because they discontinued putting that volume on the logo. It's kind of, I don't understand why they did that. I look forward to that sound. Not sure what the reasoning for that was. But just two games, Galaga and Galaga 88. And so you just, because this is only a left and right joystick, you toggle between by going left to right. You want to start the game, just hit the fire button, and it gives you directions for each game, let you know that you're going to move left and right with the joystick. You got your power on and off, your volume controls, and the fire button. Player 1 and player 2. So press player 1 to begin. And so now you're into the game. You haven't put any credits in yet. If you want to do 2 players, you hit 2. If you want to hit 1 player or play 1 player, you tap that button. Okay? So it deposits the credit and starts the game. At this point in time, you're firing away. Alright, good old classic Galaga. When you want to exit a game, you simply hold down this player 1 button until it exits. Now we'll take a look at Galaga 88, which I've never played Galaga 88 at arcade. First time I played that was on a console. Okay, again, player 1 and player 2. This time we'll do player 2. So it deposited 2 credits and started 2-player game. You can start off with this game. You can start off with a double ship or a single ship, depending on how you want to play. Boom. Lost the ship. Okay, so it's Galaga 88. When you want to exit, just press and hold player 1 button until it returns to the main menu. Again, you have your volume control, goes up to 15. So you can step from 0, no sound, up to 15. When you're done, you hit off. So as you can see on the rear, all you have is your power. So you don't have to have this plug plugged in all the time. You can disconnect it when not in use. You have your Arcade1up stickers that give you your serial number, model number, and the likes, all the required regulations. So we're going to go inside. For most people, you will be done. You turn it on, you turn it off. No need to know what's inside, but we like to mod on this channel, so people that's watching this video typically it's going to have some interest in what's inside. So inside, this is your, what they call a PCB, a printed circuit board. That's the brains of the cabinet. And it's plugged in, the power is plugged in here. So if we unplug this, it has this little twist catch just to keep this thing from flopping around. We can untwist that. It sort of wants to keep twisting itself. And they have a piece of tape just to hold it so it stays intact. We'll take that off for a moment. Okay, so this board then is completely removed. In here, you see you have your speaker, and you can see the base or the bottom of your joysticks and buttons, your joystick and buttons, and you see your speaker grill back there, and then you see the speaker and the joysticks and buttons all plug in via these wires. So for most people, you would not be tampering with this, but just so you know, if for some reason a button wasn't working, you can come and just reset these cables to make sure that everything was good. If the power didn't come on for some reason, you can just double check that, make sure that plug is plugged in. But as you can see, the construction of this cabinet is basically like its bigger cabinets. Is mounted, the bezel is mounted to the side panels with 4 brackets. Now, it's a little harder maneuver inside of here to take these things on and off. If you're going to disassemble this for whatever reason, then these screws get a little trickier, especially the ones up top. You see there, those just get a little trickier just because it's just so tight. But this thing is solid wood. So if you're interested in modding this in any degree, then you would you can see how much space you have available. So this cabinet is well made, solid wood all around. The top plank is probably the thinnest wood, but that doesn't impact the cabinet in any capacity. The cabinet looks incredible. The graphics are awesome. One of my favorite cabinets. Solid wood, even the back. That's the second thinnest piece, but all the sides, both sides, the front panel, the control panel, all solid wood. If you thought the bigger 3/4 scale cabinets were flimsy or move around, this is made out of the same exact cabinet, but in this compacted, smaller package. That all works very well for it, and it is very, very well made. So you won't have any complaints. It has some nice weight to it, but not too heavy to move around at all, obviously. The control panel, well made as well. You got this plexi on here. I would have rather them just, coated this front panel versus putting this plastic on my modded 3/4 scale. See, there's no plexi, which I prefer. You see the shine to it. It's just coated, and that'll last a long time. You can always recoat it if you think you need to, but works very well. And this cabinet is an awesome constructed cabinet. The complaints you have, quality on the bigger ones, kind of disappear once they compact it into this package. Now, the screen has the same issue that you have with all Arcade1up machines, whether it's a pinball, whether it's a 3/4 countercade, it doesn't matter. When you go to the side of it, it just washes out. Dead on, The screen is as black as it's going to get. Once you go to the sides, it washes out considerably. Okay? So when you're playing head on, it's not an issue at all as far as screen quality and viewability. So left and right, select your game. Fire button selects the game. It gives you your instructions, explains what all of the cabinet buttons and controls do. Player 1 starts it, get a credit, either hit 2 player for 2 players to play, 1 for 1 player automatically launches the game, and then you can just simply play your game. It's the Galaga that you grew up with in the arcades. It may not be the Galaga that you played over the years, because they've converted to some faster, because this fire button, you gotta constantly bang on that thing. And so over the years they've offered some faster shooting or auto. And so you'll be missing out on that. This is the standard edition, not the fast auto fire version. Oh my goodness. Okay. And so here's Galaga. If that's a game you prefer, I enjoy me some Galaga. To exit, just hold that player button down until it returns to the main menu. Select your next game. Red button fire. Again, explains you the function of the buttons. So they're all the same for both games. We'll put 2 players in this time. It'll launch 2 players. You have the choice with this one to have a single ship or a double ship to start. I'm trying to think. The first time I played this was never in an arcade. It was probably definitely on a console. And I'm trying to think, was it on a PlayStation 1? I don't recall where I played this first. But I am not necessarily a big fan of this version. For goodness, I would prefer to play this, the regular Galaga or the fast Galaga. But fans of Galaga would definitely enjoy both of these without a doubt. All right, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time playing this, but the games play as they should. The controls respond as they should. Now, once you get into a small package like this, obviously some concessions are made, right? Your ability to have your hand rested on the whole cabinet is just not going to be there. For controlling it, because it's only going left and right, you have some space for your hand to rest. Your hand for the fire button is going to pretty much be half on, half off, depending on the size of your hand. You're not going to have your whole hand on the control panel, unless you do some weird thing with the fire button, with your thumb or some crazy thing like that. But it's adequate. It's going to do the job without a doubt. Volume is awesome. 15 steps from 0 to 15. You're going to increase your volume. Didn't mean to do that. So the sound is not going to wake up the house, but it's definitely going to be sufficient for enjoying the game. And you can set it at what volume works for you. Again, hold the button until the game exit. So 2 games only, Galaga and Galaga 88. You definitely will enjoy this. My complaints that I would have about this game is very minimum. I mean, it's really nothing to complain about other than the traditional things that you complain about. Not having screw hole covers, it just makes that side look atrocious to see those screw hole covers, those holes. How difficult is it to do that Arcade1up, especially with the cabinets that are black like this. You know, a solid black screw hole cover, and this thing looks awesome. It's the perfect size. So the screw hole covers is a gripe for me, and just the fact that it should be cordless. You know, because countercades, depending on where you end up sitting this to play, you're going to be restricted by where you have a power cord to power this thing up. And so that's always my biggest complaint. And luckily there's a pretty easy mod to allow this thing to be cordless. The other gripe I have about it is just because it has a nice weight to it. It can be a little awkward to carry or to move around. And so not having a handle makes it just where do you grip this thing at? Where do you grip it to carry it? There's really no good spots to grab onto it. And then it just becomes a slippery, heavy thing. So you just have to be careful when carrying it. I prefer, I just use one of the inserts that came on the retail package and cut out a piece of this door to allow a handle to be there. And then you see there's no power cord on this, but I can turn this on. So some modding potentials for the Galaga obviously would be to put a backlit marquee on, to put the battery mod, and just to make the battery mod work perfectly, I just put hinges on this door and allows you to open this up. And I just put a little knob to be able to open it up. I just stuck this in here just for safekeeping, but it's just a 5-volt battery in there that lasts forever. Having the ability to use a battery with this just increases the areas that you can sit this thing down and play. Now, the other mod potential, the Generation 1, people modded it and they put 60-in-1 boards in, they put Raspberry Pis in them. But the challenge has been with this version 2 is getting the board, because they changed the PCB, they changed even though the screen's the same size, the whole interface is just different, and so there's very limited information on utilizing the existing screen with a mod. So it increases the price where you would have to, in a lot of cases, replace the monitor. Some people will argue, well, that would be a better thing because then you don't have that washout when you go to the side if you get a better monitor. But obviously, the modding potential, you're going to be restricted by the amount of space that you have in there. And so a lot of people are buying these. A lot of people are going to want to do some different things. And so it'd be interesting to see where people go. I am interested in maybe putting a Raspberry Pi Zero in there and, limiting the selection of games down to just the essential vertical games. Now, with this Galaga only having one button, that's going to limit some games that you can play. Like in this case, this Miss Pac-Man has 2 buttons, so you would be able to, you know, play like Dig Dug 2 on here, but you wouldn't be able to play Dig Dug 2 on a modded Galaga without adding additional buttons. And because of the layout and of that control panel, it kind of restricts where you can put the buttons at. You can still get 3 buttons in here, but then it still gets tighter with the speaker there. So because it's a smaller package, you have to really carefully think out your plan, because you can drill a hole here, then you couldn't get the button in or couldn't get the wires to it. So if these buttons were over there, you could utilize these 3 buttons and maybe put smaller buttons in for player 1 and player 2, because you don't really need these huge buttons just to start player 1 and player 2. You could potentially put smaller buttons on this front plate and have the player 1 and player 2 and have these be functional buttons. Just you have to think it out really carefully when you start using a control panel that's so small. So what do I think of this Galaga Countercade? I think it's a nice cabinet, very well made. It's about 8 pounds, but because it's so compact, yeah, you know, the screen looks a little more washed out on the screen on this camera, and plus those lights are LED lights are flashing above, changing colors, but the screen actually looks pretty good straight on. You know, it's Galaga 88. If you love those games, you'll love this cabinet. There's definitely some mods down the line. You see my Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man over there. Again, let's tap the screen so that marquee can not look like it's washed out. But I definitely like the mods here. There you go. Miss Pac-Man, you know, I'm a fan of the backlit marquees. So definitely want to do that with this guy. Putting the battery pack in so that you can be able to play this without the limitations of a cord. Brighten that up. See, no cord yet. It's powered. A handle to make that 9 pounds or so just easier to carry. It are some good mods, but again, I want to take this to the next level, and actually I like to be able to play some Donkey Kong Jr. and a lot of my other favorites in a quite portable package. So that is a challenge. The biggest challenge is getting that screen. The converter board seems to be tough to come by, and so once I get that piece of the puzzle, well, the light is playing with this, and that's just this little light up here that's doing most of the damage there. But you'll like this cabinet for sure. I was able to get it for, was it $59? $50? I can't remember now. I don't think it was $99. I think it was $59, or I got a deal on it, which just opens up the pocketbooks a little wider to be able to do the mods. So I am looking forward to that. So definitely, if you are here for the first time, please subscribe. If you're one of the regular people that come and enjoy the videos but have never subscribed, what are you waiting for? Help a brother out. I really will appreciate it more than you know. And like the video, share the video, and comment below. Do you have any of these countercades? What do you think about it? You see it next to the quarter scale cabinet. That's a full replication of the way the cabinet looked. This is nowhere near that level of detail, but it's excellent. Much bigger screen, much bigger controls, and that little thing. While that's playable, you're not going to be able to play that cabinet just as well as you can play this. So this is a very, very great cabinet. I know Tulsa Arcades, who's made these riser front plates. Tulsa Arcade, they're looking at some countercade pedestals. Gene, Mad Dad's Gaming, came up with the idea, and he's shared it with JC over there. And so I would love to have a stand that is reversible. Galaga on one side, Miss Pac-Man on the other side, and I can showcase either one on the stand just by rotating it. So that's what I hope to do. If subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll know when I make the next video. I appreciate you, and until next time, guys, I'll see you on the web.